Here with the Update Health Report is Amanda Geronikos. Amanda, you have some info about the swine flu that's really scaring people.
Yes, Rachel, and now it looks like the government is trying to stop it. The Obama administration is asking for $1.5 billion to fight the swine flu. The government says they would like to minimize the effect of the disease. The strain of the swine flu in the United States is considered to be mild. Doctors say if you believe you have the swine flu, call your doctor and get plenty of rest. Well, fish may be tasty, but too much can make young children sick. Tuna, salmon, and other fish contain small amounts of mercury, which can be dangerous for young children and pregnant women. Industrial pollution is to blame for the mercury levels. The federal government advises reducing your fish intake to 12 ounces a week. Spring may bring flowers, but it also causes twisted ankles and sore muscles. After being homebound all winter, many Americans tend to overdo their exercise routines in May and June. WebMD says muscle tears, groin pulls, and foot injuries are the most common spring ailments. Doctors recommend doing some extra stretching before exercising. A nice glow to the skin may be attractive, but it can also be dangerous. The FDA is warning that tanning beds are no safer than laying out in the blazing sun. The UV lights from the devices may cause skin cancer, despite claims by some tanning bed companies. The FDA says there is no such thing as a safe tanning bed. There is a health situation that many young people deal with every day. It's a faint echo that may or may not mean big problems. Updates Andrea DeSabato has the story.
Heart conditions, which are becoming increasingly more prevalent, have been on the forefront of medical news recently. And while the number of heart murmur cases has risen, it is not due to the nation's diminishing exercise habits, but rather to the development of technology. Cardiologist Dr. Jim Burke says that heart murmurs, an irregular heartbeat caused by increase in blood flow to the heart, can range from innocent to pathologic.
Many people have a heart murmur. It may just be normal for certain people to have a heart murmur. Maybe we call this an innocent murmur that may be due just to increased flow across certain valves of the heart. But heart murmurs can also be a sign for certain problems of the heart. Certain valves may be leaking, certain valves may be partially blocked or severely blocked.
Most murmurs are present at birth. Although many heart murmurs are not life-threatening, Dr. Burke says that athletes are more at risk for sudden cardiac death because of a faster heartbeat due to the intensity of one's activity. Athletes that are diagnosed with a heart murmur must be tested and screened before being cleared to participate. An electrocardiogram is a device that tests the electrical activity in the heart and monitors whether it is too fast or too slow. Jen Hamka has been lucky enough to grow up playing sports with her murmur because her case is not severe.
So heart murmurs run in my family. My sister, my mom, and I have had them since birth. They're innocent heart murmurs, so it doesn't affect the way our hearts work.
Dr. Burke says the best way to monitor your own heart condition is to have routine checkups and to know your family's history. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Andrea DeSabato.
And guys, doctors say the best way to achieve a good heart health is to control your salt intake and to exercise regularly.
That's great advice, Amanda.
Thank you. A study from the University of Miami says good looks can add up to excellent grades. The report claims good grooming, a beaming personality, and attractiveness can predict the academic success of high school kids. The study also says good-looking students will have a better chance of doing well in college and in the job market. Grooming is the most important trait for successful male students, where for girls, it's a good personality.
But no matter how pretty you are, finding a job this summer will be tougher in years past. College students will be competing with recently laid-off workers from part-time positions. Experts recommended expanding your search to occupations outside of your interest. Undergrads should be willing to accept jobs such as babysitting and lawn maintenance. 5 cooks battled it out in Temple's version of the Iron Chef. For a $2 donation, students could taste the dishes and help choose the winner. The proceeds of the event went to a coalition against hunger. It's a group that supports area food banks.
Food banks need our help now more than ever before because more people are using food banks because they're losing their job, their homes are in foreclosure, and with everything going on in the economy, food banks are being utilized more than ever before in history.
The real winner of the Iron Chef were the students who had a chance to try the winning entries.
Temple's art students recently expanded their artistic horizons. Update's Brandy Page tells us more.
Paint students from Temple Tyler School of Art are blending themselves into Philadelphia's art community. They're preparing for their Bachelor's of Fine Arts shows at the end of the semester, which means they must have some place to show their pieces. But Tyler's facilities may not be large enough to host all exhibitions, so a handful of determined seniors expanded their options beyond Tyler's walls.
It may turn out to be that we have to start finding our own spaces to have our senior shows. The administration just seemed very out of touch. You get generally a lot less space for your individual show, even if you get a space.
16 Tyler students run the gallery over here, aptly named 16, where selections of their work are showcased. It's located right here on Philadelphia's South Street, where the doors stay open from 2 to 8 p.m., Wednesday through Sunday. Andrea Calderes, a senior, along with 15 others, found this storefront through Triad Realty.
The realtor group and the homeowners kind of wanted to make a Sundays on South Arts initiative, sort of like First Fridays. So they reached out to local artists. They sent out an email to all the art schools to see if anyone wanted to use the space.
There's like millions of people that graduate from art school. There's tons of them, so you have to figure out like what's going to make you better than the rest of them.
Since the property is maintained by Triad Realty, the students only pay the utilities, just $50 for each student, which is only pennies to a person earning up to $1,000 for a painting.
It's all individual artists. There's 16 of us, so there's no consignment or no commission, so the money goes directly to the artist because we all put money down for the space in the beginning.
These are students who used their determination to branch out. The opportunity was presented, and like paint to an empty canvas, they've added their names to the abstract of Philadelphia's art culture. Reporting for Temple Update, I'm Brandy Page.
While those students were celebrating their new gallery, others were celebrating a historic day.
This week marked a monumentous day in American history. It was the 100th day in office for President Barack Obama.
In the Update newsroom is Nicole Sattler with our coverage of the president's first 100 days in office. Nicole?
Thanks, guys. Traditionally, the first 100 days in office is the time to reflect. President Barack Obama's has been no exception. From his inauguration to his most recent week in office, Obama's presidency has been busy. Highlights of the president's first 100 days include the fight to make the economy better. Obama has also made strides in changing the perceptions of America around the world. Despite the country's problems, the president continues to be very popular. A New York Times and CBS poll gives Barack Obama a 68% approval rating. According to the survey, 72% of Americans are optimistic about the next 4 years, and they expect Obama to make progress in overhauling the healthcare system and the country's energy policy. While the president is getting popular marks around the country, we wanted to find out what Temple students think of the president's first 100 days in office.
I feel he's been doing a good job so far. Because of the fact that we've been able to see him a lot more. He's made sure his presence is known, and he's been very transparent about the things that's been going on in his office. So even though everything's not improved fully, or everything's not moving at a faster pace, at least it's moving, and that's the best part right now.
I mean, I'm a big supporter of Obama. I don't think that any president is going to be 100% pleasing to everyone. That's impossible. So I think for who he is and the time that we're living in right now, I think he's doing a good job.
I think people had unrealistic expectations of what he would be able to do, and I still think that it's too early to determine if he's done a good job or if he's done a bad job.
Obama will have a little more help on Capitol Hill. Longtime Pennsylvania Republican Senator Arlen Specter announced that he is switching parties. The five-term politician has been in the Republican Party since 1980. He says he feels at odds with the current direction of the GOP. Specter also admitted the move gives him a better chance to be re-elected. Obama plans to continue to take steps towards bringing the economy out of the economic recession. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Nicole. The semester is just about over, and some students may have to live at home this summer.
Sherry English has this week's The List on how to avoid frustrations when moving back in with mom and dad.
Okay, you've lived by your own rules all semester, but now you're going back home for the summer. There's bound to be tension. eHow.com has a list of the best ways to live with mom and dad. Coming in at number 5 is curfew. If you have younger siblings, expect a curfew. At least call home if you plan to stay out late. At number 4 is chores. To prove you're an adult, you should volunteer to help out around the house. Talk to your parents about overnight visitors is at number 3. Do you plan to pay rent is at number 2. And the number 1 way to survive moving back home is Work out an agreement with mom and dad. Sitting down and negotiating the house rules will make the transition much easier. This has been The List. I'm Sherry English. Temple Update. We'll be right back.